أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من جديد مع برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي. كما عودناكم في كل أسبوع نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات قصة نجاح أتتنا إلى الدولة منذ عام 2015. Mr. Thorsten, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. We are so lucky to be here with you in your company. Our team said we will come in our program. And we would like to know about yourself. Who's Thorsten when he comes to this country at the first time and what he's doing at this moment?
Good afternoon. My name is Thorsten. I'm the Managing Director for ceva here in Middle East. I came to UAE in 2015, December 2015, for a different company. I joined ceva in September 2020.
September 2020, you joined this company during Corona, during the booming time for logistic age, yes. You can say. So why they choose you?
Our company went globally through a transition. We have been acquired by the CMA Group, the global leading shipping line, and globally transition was required. So part of this transition is that we restructured also in the regions, and the company decided to hire me to turn around the Middle East organization.
1990s, you left Germany and you are around the world.
1995, yes.
And finally, you choose UAE to be your country.
Yes.
Why you choose this country?
So when I left Germany in 1995, I started as a trainee in Hong Kong. I wanted to go back after 1 year. Never did. I think the best choice I ever made. And spent about 4.5 years in Hong Kong. Lived 7 years in India, 2 years in Singapore, 3 years in Qatar. Spent some time in Egypt as well as in Turkey. India back in the 2000s, there were some challenges between India and Pakistan. I was in Egypt during the revolution. So, coming to Dubai was we wanted stability for the family, my wife and my two daughters. But having seen also the not so nice part of revolutions, of crises, I think UAE is a great place to be. You're safe, it's a very convenient place. You get everything you want and very welcoming for foreigners.
When we talk about Middle East, we're talking about the hub for between two areas,
yes.
Europe and China, we can
yes.
say. So this area is so important for logistics, it's
yes.
a strategic area.
Yes.
So when they choose you as a regional manager for Middle East, it means that you have many responsibilities to do.
Yes.
The first thing you're doing in this company when you join it as well.
As I mentioned earlier, the first challenge was the transition. It was an underperforming business, and we had to focus on turning the business around. Which at this time we were looking after 4 countries in this region, and UAE being the biggest part of the business was the first priority.
ceva is many companies together, right?
That's how it originally started. Part from Australia, part from Europe, so it merged into one big global organization, which is now named ceva.
And what's the difference between ceva and the others?
There are different reasons. First, we are a true multinational company. We have more than 1,100 offices. We are part of a family-owned business. I think that's very important for me. You have the leadership, it's family-owned. And as part of the transition, I think we have emerged as a very successful competitor to be in the top 5 of the leading logistics companies.
350 different employees you have under your company. So to manage these people, it's so hard. But I will ask you how you can keep the relation between you and these employees
yes.
more strong.
Yes. In our business, people is the most important. It's very manpower intensive. 60-70% of our expenses is the people, are the salaries. So it's really important to make sure that they're motivated, that they're committed. And an employee's happiness, from my experience, comes from 3 major factors. It is recognition, it is development within the organization, and it is for sure monetary, the salaries we pay. So we focus surely on all 3. Running a P&L, we have to be cost conscious. So it's also important to recognize the hard work that people do and to give them career opportunities.
For Emirati team, it's hard for them to take 30 minutes from your time because at 9, you have other appointments. So
yes.
There is no time for you. So when you have time for yourself?
I try on the weekends, but that's, I think, typical Dubai as well. Time is flying. I travel a lot, but so I try to leave the office relatively in time and spend the weekend with the family as much as possible.
For big companies, they are always take care about two things: the letter of credit banks, and they take care of insurance companies. So let's talk about these two parts. In the business.
Yeah. The letter of credit is between the buyer and the seller. We just have to ensure that if they have this agreement through a bank, that we follow the rules and regulations, do not release a shipment without authorization from the bank. And if people require insurance, if they want to protect more than our standard, let's say, coverage, then we are surely happy to assist as well to cover insurance for them.
Who support you in your life?
My wife. Biggest time. Well, as I said earlier, I moved through a lot of countries. She did all that together with me. And it's not always easy, correct? If you, every 2 or 3 years you have to move to a new country. For our children, it's good and negative at the same time. They see the world, they see how great it is out there, but at the one time they also don't have the roots that I had, for example, when I grew up in Germany.
In March, you have events here for this company. Right?
That's true.
So what
yes.
is this company?
We are making customer events. Again, part of the transition is that we, what I call, have to make more noise in the market. ceva is a great company. We do a lot of great things. We just don't do enough of it. So part of the transition is to really be out there in the market, be more aggressive, and grow the business.
ceva vision, the future. What's the plan for the future in ceva?
As I said earlier, we want to be in the top 5, possibly even top 3. With the backing of the CMA group, we have what it takes to get there. So it's part of the organic growth we have, but it's also part of a very, very aggressive M&A strategy, which has happened over the last 3 years already, and likely will continue in the future as well.
Top 5. When we talk about top, we need to remember His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the leader of Dubai. His Highness mentioned in his book that it's hard to be number 1, but the hardest to stay on the same level.
That is correct.
How can be always in the top?
You have to stay ahead of the game, correct? And especially in our industry, what Corona has taught us is that you have to be more agile. We have to be more flexible. Traditional shipping seasons and patterns have changed. Normally you had a peak season before Christmas, before Chinese New Year, before Ramadan. Things changed a lot. Consumer behavior has changed. So we have to be more agile to adjust to our customer needs.
Let's talk about ceva capacity of stores. So what's the capacity of your stores?
So our main facility here in Jebel Ali, where we are sitting right now, is about 63,000 square meters. It is what we call a shared facility. So we have about 20-25 different customers in there. We are running the e-commerce facility of about fulfillment center of about 25,000 square meters, and then a few smaller warehouses for dedicated customers.
After Corona, now we are hearing about many things. The most important things that AI and robots. So you have any part of this area?
We are experimenting with a few things. We are doing, for example, stock count in the warehouse with drones, which saves a lot of time as well as money. What normally takes a couple of days can be done in a few hours with a higher accuracy. So we are talking about cleaning robots in the warehouses. We are talking about wrapping robots. So we are looking at it, but it's still a long way to go.
So UAE target for many people coming to this country as investors or even people looking for a job or employees.
Yes.
So what's your first advice for this people?
Watch what I call the temptation of living. In Dubai, it's a beautiful place, it's a great place. You have to watch the cost, correct? You can spend a lot of money, you can live reasonable. So you can't have it all. So I think the first advice is, while you might get a salary offer that looks very tempting, understand the cost of living. And I call it the temptation of living.
Finally, this country which gives us many things. The most thing that we have it here, peace and safe country.
Yes.
I think we don't close our door, or we don't care if you have key or don't have key.
Yes.
Peace and safe country starting from His Highness Sheikh Zayed, the one who started the first step, and son of Zayed, they make you number 1 in the world.
Yes.
So what we will say for the leaders and government for this opportunity?
So it's amazing what this country has achieved over the last 50 years, and I think the vision moving forward is also very, very important. They have created a place of diversity, they have created a place of welcoming, and I think that's the biggest difference. As I mentioned before, I have been in many countries. It's amazing how all these cultures can live together with harmony and in peace, as you rightfully said. Yes.
Mr. Thorsten, thank you to spending your time with our team, and welcome again our program.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
في كل إمارة تروح تسندك عقل وروح بر ومدن وجبال حاجة ترد